Okay, I'm just going to I switched computer to do this, and I'm just bringing across the sample lesson so that we can go on with that for 5 or 10 minutes. So the lesson is really going to be something that everybody can talk about, and it's we're talking about, hold on, let me put in my key so I can get the, all right. Okay, it's going to be presenting the facts and figures in your company. What are the important numbers to call if you want to find out information, key information about your company. All right, I'm going to try and see if I can bring that up since I switched the, okay, presenting your company, focusing on figures. And my volunteers here will be, let's see, I've got Michelle and I've got Indiana. Maybe Michelle and Indiana, are you going to be prepared then to help us to do this session, presenting your company? Think about your company and what would be the important figures to talk about when you're introducing or talking about your company. And we have an example here, fast facts and echo. So I'm going to ask you to mute your mic until you're ready to talk, okay? Thank you. All right, that's better. Okay, what are the fast facts that you can see at this company they've decided to talk about? And then I'll ask one person to maybe to read. Would you like to try, Michelle, to read aloud a couple of these?
Yes.
Go ahead.
One of the world's leading pharmaceutical companies, corporate headquarters located in Chicago, over 37,000 employees worldwide, 52% North America, 33% in Europe, and 15% in the rest of the world. Manufacturing plants located in 10 countries, clinical research conducted in more than 50 countries, products sold in over 100 countries, net sales for the last fiscal year, $17.835 million, 43% in North America, 32% in Europe, 15% in Asia, and 10% in the rest of the world.
Excellent, great, good reading. Okay, all right. From these notes, because they're just bullets there, talking about information, it's not expanding on anything. But tell me then, Michelle, about 3 important things to mention if you're giving fast facts about your company. What would those be from what you read here?
I think the fast facts would be over 37,000 employees. The other one would be manufacturing. Yeah. Manufacturing plants, where they're located.
Okay.
And
good.
I think the net sales for the fiscal year.
Okay. That's excellent. That's really, really so that you want to give an idea then of maybe the size of your company, the success of your company. What do you think? What can you say? Let's see, was it Indiana? Could you come in here and say, tell me about the fast facts that you think are important to include when you're talking about your own company? Would you agree with Michelle?
Sure, yes, I do agree with her. You gotta talk about, how big the company is, the revenues, if they are available, and, presence in different countries if the company is international.
Okay, so if the company is international too, you want to mention that? You want to mention
I'm going to go ahead and talk about my company. Our company name is Extra, and we are a consulting company that works, 99% in Mexico. We help the medium and small businesses with the government, with the Secretary of Economy. We help them to be trained and to improve their quality of business.
Okay, that sounds all interesting. Can you give me some information, Michelle, about your company? And probably you're going to mention the information centered around what you pointed out, the number of employees, the manufacturing plant location, and so on. For your own company, tell me the name and go ahead and give us that information then.
Well, actually, I don't work for a private company. My company is the Canadian Forces, and so we have close to 65,000 military that are part of the Canadian Forces, and we specialize in training in our department Canadian Forces military members in learning mostly French and English because Canada is a bilingual country.
Yes.
So we have about 5,000 students that we trained every year, and they are trained throughout Canada.
Okay. All right. So that's important. So what this tells me then, Michelle and Indiana, depending on what your company activity is, you're going to want to feature more or less of this type of information. Would you agree? You're not talking about plants because you're not manufacturing, but you're talking about other things that your company is involved in. Is there anything else you want to add before we move on to the next part?
No, that's fine for me.
Okay, shall we move on? Here you're going to see a graphic, and we're looking at the same company, but every time we're going to relate it to your own company. And tell me what do you understand from this slide, Indiana?
Okay, I understand that it is dividing all, the net sales per sector.
Good, very good. Okay, that sounds good. Net sales per sector. Anything else you wanted to add?
No.
Okay, very good. All right. Michelle, I'll ask you to join me in this role play. Let's just say that Indiana and we're a part of your audience, listening to your short presentation, and you're an employee of a manager in this company, Weiss and Schmidt, and you're presenting using this slide as an aid in your presentation. So as Indiana said, you're talking about your market share, and you have the key there, talking about prescription medicine. Apparently, this is your pharmaceutical company. Would you like to try to give a very brief presentation of this using this slide?
Yes, I can do that. So, as we mentioned before, we have plants in several countries, and we sell products in about 100 countries. But here we're going to be talking about our net sales per activity. So in overall, last year, in 2009, we had 17,835,000 net sales, and they are divided in different sectors. 52% of them are in prescription medicines. Another 25% are in, 52% are in top-selling over-the-counter prescriptions. In orange, we see 23% is in new biotechnologies, and in the sector in the right is 25% in prescription medicines. That is how our net sales are divided.
All right, great, thank you, excellent. I'll give you a hand for that. And we're running out of time a little bit now, so what I would add to that would be a few expressions that you could use to explain. You did it very well, it was perfect, and you could also vary your expression as you present each market share, talking about 52% of the total sales came in through our top-selling over-the-counter drugs. Or you could talk about top-selling over-the-counter drugs contribute 52% of our total sales. You could turn your sentences that way. And usually after the class, I'll send you a report and some new vocabulary. So these new expressions or less frequently used expressions would be on your notes, and you could practice that for your next presentation. I won't go any further because I'll take up all the webinar time. But thank you for participating, Michelle and Indiana. Thank you so much. I'll give you a hand. And then we move into our question and answer period. We've been getting a few written questions, and the first one that comes up here: what are the key competencies for teachers that teachers should possess? Teachers who deliver virtual classroom classes. Okay, this question comes in written. So I'll just answer that. I would say that you need all the skills, all the competencies, if you will, of teachers who deliver normal classes in the normal classroom, you know, the traditional classroom, where you have knowledge of the subject. And if it's a language class, of course, knowledge of the language and grammar and clear enunciation, you know, the ability to speak clearly. You need to know a little about the classroom dynamics if you're going to be working with a group. You want to be a personable, warm kind of teacher, encouraging those personality, you know, traits that come out when you have teachers who come across very well in the classroom to the students. You need to encourage your students. You need also, if you're in the virtual class, to add such things as knowledge of, at least a basic knowledge of some of the technicalities, to be able to troubleshoot a little bit if something happens, and to remain calm about it all while that happens, you know, while you're fixing things. To know your tools well, not only your teaching tools outside of the virtual classroom, but also what you have to use in the virtual classroom as well. We do have another question coming in the written form, and that's are there other languages besides English that are taught? As far as tell me more, generally speaking, in the virtual classroom, of course, you can teach any other kind of language, and we do teach many different languages at Tell Me More. At the moment, English is the highest in demand. Is there any other question, whether written or spoken? We have a question from Trainer 9 or Michelle. You have your hand up. I'm not sure if that's for a question or from the trial that we just did. I can hear.
Sorry, that's a mistake.
Sorry, that's okay. All right. Anybody else? There's Bam Bang. Yes. Okay. There's a written one, and there's also Bam Bang. I'll give Bam Bang the go ahead and ask your question, please. It came in before the written one.